Welcome to Goal Channel. Today we will talk about the African Cup and the latest events. And after the end of the group stage, we have enough details and data to evaluate each of the teams. And the group stage this year was never the same as before. Without introductions, we start with the first group, in which many surprises occurred, such as the organizing country qualifying from the group stage in third place with a lackluster performance. The Ivory Coast team, which won only the opening match and lost the second match in front of its fans against Nigeria in a match that was close in level. Then returned to repeat what it did against the national team of Nigeria, but this time in a much worse way, lost by 4 clean goals to Equatorial Guinea. Of course, no one expected that Equatorial Guinea would lead the group with 7 points at the expense of 2 major teams, such as Nigeria and Ivory Coast. As for the Nigerian team, it recovered from a draw in the first match against Equatorial Guinea, which later appeared to be not an easy team, and won in the next 2 matches against Ivory Coast and Guinea-Bissau to qualify in second place with 7 points, shared with Equatorial Guinea and on goal difference. The surprises did not stop with the first group, and even the second group had its share as well. The Cape Verde team was able to qualify in the lead with 9 points and secure first place before playing the last match at the expense of teams such as Egypt and Ghana. The Egyptian team, which only has 3 points from 3 draws, had its first star, Mohamed Salah, suffer an injury in the second match and was forced to return to Liverpool for treatment. After the end of the decisive match against Cape Verde, which Mohamed Salah watched from the stands, according to the Liverpool coach, his injury is ongoing and he will not be able to play except in the final match if the Egyptian national team reaches the final. The Egyptian national team also suffered from a weak defense line, as it conceded 6 goals in 3 matches, at a rate of 2 goals per match, while the Ghana national team did not provide anything in this edition. Where he tied twice and lost once to Cape Verde, he obtained 2 points in total that did not allow him to qualify. Regarding the third group, as for the Senegalese team, without any introductions, it won all the matches, and this is not surprising, as the Senegalese team is one of the most important teams in recent years and was able to reach the final of the African Cup twice in the last 2 editions, winning one and losing the other. They also gave a great performance in the World Cup and were able to qualify for the second round. The team that won in the first match against Gambia by 3-0 and also defeated Cameroon by 3-1 and won in the third match against Guinea by 2-0 to lead the third group with a full mark and with 9 points. As for Cameroon, which was outside the competition with 1 point until the 87th minute, after losing by 2-1 against Gambia in the last match. But it was able to achieve a comeback and win with 3 goals to pass to the next round in second place behind Senegal. The Guinean team was also able to pass to the next stage with 4 points behind Cameroon on goal difference and in third place. Surprising everyone, the Angolan team was able to lead its group with 7 points at the expense of Burkina Faso and Algeria, which confirms the awakening and development of small teams in Africa. As for the Burkina Faso team, it occupied second place with 4 points. Then it was followed by the Mauritanian team with 3 points, which was able to qualify for the first time in its history from the group stage at the expense of the Algerian national team in the last match, which defeated them with a score of 1-0. But the biggest surprise is not the qualification of Mauritania, but the exit of the Algerian national team, champion of the 2019 edition, for the second time in a row from the group stage. As for the fifth group, the Malian national team also performed strongly and obtained 7 points in a group that is considered the strongest group by defeating the South African national team with 2-0 and drawing with Tunisia, which was playing its last card in the second match, and tied with Namibia in the last match, and this enabled it to lead its group. As for the South African team, which gave a great performance in the first match, it missed a decisive penalty kick, which cost it a lot, as the Malian team came back after that to defeat it by 2-0. Then South Africa came back to recover against Namibia by 4-0 and concluded the group stage with a draw with Tunisia, the latter which was eliminated from the group stage without any victory, 2 draws against Mali and South Africa, and a loss in the first match against Namibia. The Namibia team also qualified as best third with 3 points, thanks to its victory over Tunisia. As for the Moroccan team, as expected, it was able to top its group with 7 points, as it scored 3-0 in the first match against Tanzania and tied in the second against the Democratic Republic of the Congo in very difficult weather. As the match was held at 14 Hwang in the afternoon under great heat and high humidity, and it won. Also in the last match against Zambia, the Moroccan team achieved what was required in the group stage, followed by the Democratic Republic of Congo with 3 points after drawing in all the matches it played, thus placing it in second place. As for the teams of Tanzania and Zambia, they were eliminated from the group stage as they did not show what would enable them to qualify. As a conclusion, after the end of the group stage, there are teams from which a lot was expected and left from the group stage, including the Algerian national team, which disappointed and did not perform at the level that would enable it to qualify, as it only needed a draw in the last match against Mauritania to qualify, but it was unable to do that. And also, the national team of Ghana, who no longer offered anything in the African Cup, lost his qualification after he was victorious by 2-0 until stoppage time, but he was unable to maintain his lead and tied in the end and exited the competition. In addition to the Tunisian team, which did not also offers any level. On the other hand, the teams of Senegal, Morocco, and Mali confirmed their presence and achieved what was required and were able to lead their groups with great performance and high tactical discipline, declaring that it will be a difficult number for any team that wants to go far in the competition and is one of the most prominent candidates to win the title. As for the other classic teams, such as Egypt, Nigeria, and Cameroon, their performance was very similar, with the exception of the Ivory Coast team, which disappointed its fans in this edition and was almost eliminated from the group stage. What was not expected was for 3 teams to top their groups, which no one expected to even qualify from the group stage. But if we go back to the numbers, this is not a coincidence. Even though these teams do not possess the ball, they can create the largest number of chances to score. For example, the team of Cape Verde, whose average possession rate only reaches 49.6%, has an XG at 4.4 in position 4, and from this 4.4, they have scored 7 goals. The same goes for Angola and Equatorial Guinea. They do not possess the ball, but they are among the first teams in the tournament to create chances and even score half chances. We also find other teams, such as Algeria, the team with the most possession of the ball in the tournament, 68.4%, exiting the group stage, followed by Ivory Coast as well, which waited until the last day of the group stage to know what would qualify as best third. Then the Cameroonian team, which qualified in stoppage time, as well as the Egyptian team, which did not achieve any victory, and this does not mean that the teams that dominate do not win. We find teams like Senegal, Morocco, and Mali that dominate the ball, but despite that, they lead their groups. Quite simply, the secret is not in possession, but in creating opportunities and exploiting quasi-opportunities, in addition to having this good defense. It is the secret to winning in Africa. This was a summary of what happened in the African Cup. See you soon in the next episode.